Have you ever thought that simply chanting a few mantras or bowing at a temple means you've officially taken refuge? Have you ever assumed that believing in the Buddha makes you Buddhist? But what if your understanding is incomplete, and worse, what if that misunderstanding is quietly destroying the foundation of your spiritual journey? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving into one of the most misunderstood yet most essential aspects of the Buddhist path, taking true refuge in the three jewels Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha. This is more than just a ceremonial phrase, more than a ritual at a monastery. This is the root of all authentic Buddhist practice, and if your understanding of it is flawed, your entire path may be built on sand. Let's start with the basics. To take refuge means to seek protection, guidance, and direction from something greater than your own ego. It is a declaration that you are no longer wandering blindly in the cycle of samsara, but that you now walk a path of awakening. In Buddhism, the three jewels are the ultimate sources of this guidance: the Buddha, the fully awakened one; the Dharma, the path and truth he taught; and the Sangha, the noble community that walks that path with you. But here's the critical point: taking refuge is not just a verbal vow. It's not a cultural label. It is a profound inner transformation. To truly take refuge is to shift the center of your life away from craving, fear, and delusion, and toward wisdom, compassion, and liberation. Yet, many people today say they've taken refuge while continuing to rely on worldly methods for happiness. They worship spirits for luck, make offerings to deities for wealth, and follow spiritual teachings only when convenient. This is not true refuge. This is spiritual consumerism. It's picking and choosing what feels good while ignoring the parts that challenge the ego. Let me be clear: Buddhism is not a superstition. It's not about magic. It's not about getting what you want. It's about waking up. And the moment you take refuge, you are saying, I want to wake up, want to see clearly, want to be free from suffering, and not by changing the world, but by transforming my own mind. Real-life story illustrates this. Man once visited a temple and declared that he wanted to take refuge. He recited the vows, received a certificate, and began wearing beads and robes, but he continued to make offerings to wealth gods, sought charms for protection, and treated the Dharma like a vending machine, offering incense for favors. Years passed, and his life remained filled with anxiety and confusion. Eventually, a monk sat him down and said, "You haven't taken refuge, you've taken convenience." That moment struck him deeply. He returned to the temple, bowed before the Buddha, and with tears said, "Today, I truly take refuge, and not with my mouth, but with my heart." True refuge begins when the Buddha becomes your highest mod, one not just a statue to bow to, but a guide to emulate. Means you trust the Dharma, not because it promises comfort, but because it pins to truth. It means you rely on the Sangha, not because they're perfect, but because they share your aspiration to awaken. Let's break this down even further. To take refuge in the Buddha means to recognize that full awakening is possible and that you too can walk that path. You are not doomed to endless suffering. The Buddha's life shows us that no matter how deep our ignorance, we can rise. No matter how strong our attachments, we can be free. But this requires more than belief. It requires practice. To take refuge in the Dharma means to align your life with truths, not temporary truths, not convenient truths, but the unchanging truths of impermanence, suffering, woe self, and the path to liberation. This means living ethically, practicing mindfulness, cultivating wisdom, means not clinging to pleasure, not avoiding pain, not chasing illusions, means seeing clearly, even when it hurts. To take refuge in the Sangha means to walk with others who also seek the truth, means learning from teachers, supporting fellow practitioners, and being willing to be corrected when you stray, means humility, unity, connection. You don't walk this path alone. And yet, many people today are falling into a dangerous track. They take refuge on the surface, but deep down, they continue to rely on the very sources of suffering the Buddha warned us about: craving, aversion, ignorance. They look to social status, material wealth, or supernatural favors to feel secure. But these things are not stable. They're not liberating. They are samsara in disguise. The Buddha never promised comfort. He promised freedom. And freedom only comes when you're willing to let go of false refuge. So ask yourself honestly, where do you turn when life gets hard? Do you look to the teachings or to distractions? Do you turn inward or escape outward? Your answer will reveal your true refuge. There's a story in the scriptures about a woman who lost her child and went mad with grief. He carried the child's body from house to house, begging for a cure. Everyone turned her away, until he came to the Buddha. He listened patiently and told her to collect mustard seeds from homes that had never known death. He returned empty-handed, and finally saw the truth with suffering is universal. Loss is part of life. In that moment, he awakened, not because her pain vanished, but because he stopped resisting reality. That was the moment he truly took refuge. You see, refuge is not escape, it is courage. It is the courage to face impermanence, to sit with pain, to see the emptiness behind the mask of self. When you take true refuge, the world doesn't suddenly become easy, but you become strong, direct, awake. So, how can you know if you've truly taken refuge? Look at your actions. Look at your mind. When challenges arise, do you meet them with the Dharma or with distraction? When anger appears, do you investigate it or act it out? When fear grips you, do you run or do you breathe and return to the present? Every choice you make is a mirror. Every moment is a chance to renew your refuge. It's not about being perfect, it's about being sincere. If you find yourself realizing, "Oh, maybe I haven't really taken refuge," don't feel ashamed, feel grateful. Because this is your turning point. This is the moment when the seed of awakening has been watered. You can begin again right now. Back to the Buddha. Study his life. Sit quietly and listen to your breath. How? Not just with your body, but with your heart. Let go of the need to control, to possess, to escape. Say with full presence, "I take refuge in the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha." Not because someone told you to, but because you see for yourself this is the path of peace. And if you've already taken refuge, deepen it, study more, practice harder, serve others. Let your life become an offering to the three jewels. Because when you truly take refuge, something shifts. You are no longer lost. You are no longer at the mercy of karma. You are no longer a slave to desire. You have a compass, path, purpose. And that, my friends, is the beginning of real freedom. If this message touched your heart, please share your journey in the comments. What does refuge mean to you? What lessons have the three jewels brought into your life? Let's support each other, not just with words, but with presence, practice, and truth. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and support our channel so we can continue walking this path together.